Africa 24. This program is brought to you by the AfCFTA Secretariat.
Rwanda is a country known for its outstanding economic performance. According to the World Bank, in the first quarter of 2024, the country's real GDP grew by 9.7% in comparison with the 8.2% recorded in 2023, by far outstripping its neighbours in the sub-region. To understand this performance and analyze how the country fits into the implementation of the AfCFTA, we talk today to Prudence Sebahizi, Rwanda's Minister for Trade and Industry. Mr. Sebahizi, welcome to Africa 24 English.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Honorable, Rwanda has been a key advocate for the AfCFTA. How is Rwanda positioning itself as a leader in the implementation of AfCFTA, and what specific initiatives are being undertaken to ensure that the country maximizes the benefits of this continental free trade agreement?
Rwanda not only has advocated for the AfCFTA, but also has taken the lead in the process of establishment of the AfCFTA. At the time when the AfCFTA agreement was signed, that was on 21st of March 2018, it was here in Kigali, and the President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, was the chair of the African Union. And from that time, he's done a lot of work to make sure that all other heads of state sign the agreement and ratify it. Now that the agreement has come into force, Rwanda has to also preach by example by making sure that we implement the agreement. There are different steps that we have put in place, one of them being to do the necessary administrative and regulatory reforms to make sure that we have structures that are adequate for implementing the AfCFTA. Rwanda was among the first country to establish what we call the AfCFTA Implementation Committee. That is a multi-stakeholder committee of all government institutions and other stakeholders, private sector and civil society, and all actors to come together to implement the agreement. Secondly, Rwanda has put in place AfCFTA implementation strategy, and we have run a national-wide campaign to create awareness about the AfCFTA.
Your Excellency, industrialization is critical to unlocking the full potential of intra-African trade. What strategies is the Rwanda government employing to promote industrialization, particularly in sectors like manufacturing, agro-processing, and value-added industries, to boost Rwanda's competitiveness in regional value chains?
Rwanda, we have identified our priority sectors for industrial development. And for us to succeed, we have put in place adequate infrastructure. As we speak, Rwanda has identified 11 industrial parks across the country. Out of those, we have 2 special economic zones. And within the special economic zones, we have created a list of incentives that will attract investors to come and establish in those industrial parks. And in other industrial parks in other parts of the country, we are now developing adequate infrastructure, including access roads, putting in place utilities such as electricity, water network, and also making sure that investors who come to invest in manufacturing, they get preferential rate on electricity. So apart from the policy framework, we also invest heavily in putting in place adequate infrastructure for investors in manufacturing.
That's good to know. Small and medium-sized enterprises play a pivotal role in Rwanda's economy. What is being done to ensure that SMEs can take full advantage of the trade opportunities presented by AfCFTA, and how are you addressing the challenges faced in scaling and accessing regional markets?
In Rwanda, when you look at the business community, more than 90% of the business community are small and medium enterprises. For Rwanda to succeed in tapping into the regional market opportunities, we had to build the capacity of our SMEs. And building the capacity of our SMEs include availing information about how the market operates. But not only that, we build their capacity, to meet the standards requirement. We have put in place different national policies that support entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and more importantly, we have created other networks that allow those SMEs to supply their products to the market, including working on the transport and logistics in the country.
The automotive, pharmaceutical and agro-processing sectors and a few more others are considered key to driving economic growth across Africa. What steps is Rwanda taking to attract foreign and domestic investments into these priority sectors, and how does the country plan to leverage these industries to drive economic transformation?
We do know that the market is available for pharmaceutical industry. All African countries are depending on importation. So pharmaceutical manufacturing is a good opportunity given the consumption that we have. Rwanda, we have set in place within industrial parks, we have put in place dedicated zones where manufacturing in the pharmaceutical sector will take place. And now we are attracting investors in pharmaceutical sector to come and invest in those industrial parks. We have invested a lot in agribusiness. We make sure that we add value to agro-processing. We normally used to export raw coffee and tea, but now we have invested a lot in processing coffee and tea. We have also put more efforts in horticulture. We are exporting horticulture, but we also have a milk industry that is very well developed. As I speak, we have powder milk. We also have milk products, yogurts, and milk and cheese. All of them are processed here in Rwanda.
Regional collaboration is essential to creating seamless trade across borders. How is Rwanda working in with neighboring countries and other AfCFTA member states to harmonize trade policies, improve infrastructure and reduce non-tariff barriers to ensure smoother trade flows within the region?
Non-tariff barriers is one of the biggest challenges we have. Rwanda being a landlocked country, the cost of transport from the port of Mombasa or the port of Dar es Salaam, whether you are exporting or importing, is very high, relatively high compared to other countries in the region. What Rwanda has done, we have now put in place what we call Kigali Logistic Platform, which is providing exactly the same services that a port can provide. We have also established inland ports. We have 3 ports that have been put in place along Kivu Lake that are linking Rwanda to the market of DRC. We have also created what we call cross-border markets. And those cross-border markets, we have 9 of them now. They are cross-border markets at the borders, all the borders surrounding Rwanda, which assist our small and medium enterprises to put their products there, and they are easily trading them with our neighbors. So the issue of non-tariff barriers is being addressed along those sides, but we also keep constant engagement with our neighbors on bureaucracies and other red tapes when it comes to crossing the borders and crossing those countries while exporting or importing.
Mr. Sebahizi, thank you very much for sharing all those achievements of Rwanda with Africa24 English. It was a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Ladies and gents, here comes the end of this program, but please stay tuned to Africa24 English.
This program was brought to you by the AfCFTA Secretariat on Africa24.